I'm Michelle Burke, and I am a longtime member of and volunteer with Omicron Delta Kappa. So happy to welcome you, and really thrilled that I got matched with this session as the moderator. I've known Matt Hibden for a long time, and Matt Hibden is the Strategic Communications Manager at Middle Tennessee State University. And I need to pull up the rest of the bio, because otherwise I'll just tell stories that he probably doesn't want me to tell. So, well.
He's the local star. We call him all our Apple questions.
Right. He's a charter member of the Middle Tennessee State Circle and a former member of the National Headquarters staff, where he was Director of Leadership Programs. He is the recipient of an ODK Foundation Scholarship and the Eldridge Rourke Meritorious Service Award in 2016. He's been a national volunteer since 2012 with ODK and currently serves on the Mission Committee. As the College of Liberal Arts Strategic Communications Manager, he works with its centers and departments to promote programs and share the stories of students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Matthew volunteers with 4-H and the Tennessee Historical Society, and he's president-elect of MTSU's National Alumni Association Board of Directors. Kind of a big deal. So we're happy to have Matthew with us. And Susan Lyons is the Honors College Coordinator at Middle Tennessee State University. And she is coordinator, she's been circle coordinator of the ODK Circle, where she was inducted in 2013. And she received the coveted Moreland Bishop Outstanding Circle Officer Award in 2020. So congratulations. And she serves on the ODK National Nominating Committee and was on the committee for the amazing 2018 National Convention in Nashville, Tennessee, our last time being together in person. Yeah. So Susan worked at Virginia Tech in the College of Industrial and Systems Engineering and Public Relations. So we're happy to have these two ODK experts to share ideas with us today, and I will let you two take it away.
Great.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And thanks to everybody for coming out at a 3 p.m. session on a Saturday afternoon in April, everyone's favorite month of the semester, where there's definitely nothing else going on in your lives. And we want to share, top 5 questions that every circle should ask about your circle programming. So whether you are a programming expert or this is your first time thinking about what kind of programming your circles can do, thank you for coming. And Susan and I are excited to have you here. So we do not believe in death by PowerPoint. We do have a short PowerPoint with our questions on there, just so you can visually see those and write those down as we go through. So if I can get a thumbs up from somebody that the screen share is functional.
It's looking good.
Okay, so you know who we are. We'll skip that. And let's get on to our first question. Where does your circle fit on campus? So that is a very introspective question that you might not really know if you don't know the exact history of your circle, but it's not that kind of deep philosophical question about where you fit in the grand scheme of your campus, but what role do you play? So when you're thinking about different programming, you can create your own signature program that can be what your ODK circle is known for. You can possibly revive a program that your campus has done for years, or maybe keep it going. So there's a lot of different things that you can consider, but what events already happen on your campus, right? Because you don't necessarily want to compete with those, but you want to complement those. So if your campus already does the big event or Habitat for Humanity for service projects, then that might not be where you want to go. But if you want to do a service project, say with a local veterans home or nursing home, and no one's doing that, that could be something that your circle is known for. And then also leadership development, right? So if your student involvement, student organizations office already does a really high quality student leadership development program for the campus organization presidents like ours does at MTSU, then that might not be your best path, right? But you can still do leadership development and just open it up to all of your members, all of the campus, whatever populations you think are needed. But the biggest thing to remember is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you look at circle programming. And one of the best things you can do is partner with other organizations. And Susan's going to tell you a little bit more about how we've done that at MTSU.
So currently we are partnering with Phi Kappa Phi, So Phi Kappa Phi and Omicron Delta Kappa are the two top honor societies on our campus. Both are housed in the Honors College right there behind me. So that makes it easy because we have a lot of the same members, and we know what's going on in each other's groups. So find a group like that, partner up with them, somebody that has similar mission to you. And so what we're currently doing is we found out that Phi Kappa Phi has a literacy grant. We were working on a leadership library project where we wanted to encourage readers to be leaders. And as part of that, we said, hey, let's put up a little library at one of our childcare centers on campus. We could have books for adults, books for children, and we could, you know, put on there leaders are readers. We could promote it, ODK, and get the word out in the community and get our name out in the community. With Phi Kappa Phi and their literacy grant, we said, hey, if we pair up with you guys and write this grant with you all, maybe we could do more little libraries and get both our names out there. So that's what we've done. We did get a clay grant. A little bit of that money is going to go toward the little library. And then we're waiting on the Phi Kappa Phi literacy grant that we helped write with them. And at that point, hopefully we can put up 4 little libraries. And so now we've gotten our name out into the community in different areas of the community that still benefit our campus, our students, faculty, staff, as well as the community, and our name is out there. So who can you partner with? What other organizations on campus, and I know there's a lot, can you think of to partner with? So I would recommend looking into that.
Okay, so our next question is, what kind of service projects can you do? Or what kind of programming can you do? Like we said, service projects are always what a lot of people go to. Morningside College has a very exciting, into the streets service project that they do every year. It's for the entire campus. They're a smaller school though, so if you're a small liberal arts institution, maybe you can do something that's campus-wide and is under ODK's name, but everyone on campus is involved. If you're at a larger institution, so I know we've got somebody on here from Austin P, a little bit larger school, MTSU, we have over 20,000 students. So to get that many people in one place at one time would probably, completely crash the internet on campus and everything else, and there would be no parking. So if we got all of our people involved, that would be quite the Herculean task. But we can still do things that benefit the entire campus. And so with the advent of now hybrid and virtual programming that we are all so fond of, and it's our everyday bread and butter now, you can connect with people in new ways. So yeah, you might not be able to go do a service project together in person or virtually easily, but you can still connect with people and engage in networking like we've done here at the conference, and leadership development. So doing sessions like this with different guest speakers, there's a lot of ways that you can do it, even virtually, if your life on campus is not looking normal by the time we get back to fall. But also look into the different spaces on your campus and see what options you have. If you have hybrid, is there a setup in the room where there's cameras so you could still do an in-person event and bring people in? And that could be a good way to engage your alumni too. So service projects, networking, leadership development, those are kind of the big umbrellas of programs that circles aim for. And there's always a new idea to come up with. So one thing that we're looking at doing with the leadership libraries is doing a kind of monthly book club, right? So make a selection from the leadership library and have those facilitated discussions to encourage leadership development and promote literacy, increase literacy on campus, more than just the reading that everybody has to do in their major, but to have a little bit more fun with learning.
Well, and in this environment, those can also be recorded on Zoom. So even if you can't attend live during the session, that Zoom recording can be saved, and maybe we set up a website where people can go back and say, I'm interested in a leadership book. Let me see what they've done or what they've talked about. Oh, that sounds good. I think I'd like to read that book. So you can save those things and create an online library of those talks as well. I heard a great project yesterday that I loved that University of Kentucky does, and it's not their ODK circle, but certainly any ODK circle on a small or large campus could do this, because University of Kentucky is a large school. They do an end of the year garbage bag program where students can put anything that they don't want to take home at the end of the summer. It could be snacks, it could be clothes, it could be furniture, well, obviously not big furniture, but things like that, anything that'll fit in a large black garbage bag. And who says you can't spray paint ODK on the garbage bag and, get your name out there and it become an ODK project on a campus and on a large campus. And then students get used to doing that. And then you can donate those items in the community, take the snacks and things to the food shelter. You can do lots of different things with that, or make a place where students can go for non-perishable things the following fall. Currently, one of the things that we're doing is those little libraries. So that's kind of going to be an ongoing service project. So that's something that, I'll have students that are going to be in charge of rotating books. So it's a service project, may not involve a lot of students in your circle, but could involve some who want to take that on as a project. We also have general kind of service projects where currently we're helping with a mobile food pantry. And each month we do this on a Saturday for a few hours. And we have about 15 students who go out and they help put together food packages that go out into the community. So lots of different opportunities for service projects. And with, like Matthew mentioned, with the hybrid, it doesn't have to be out in the community, could be on your campus, could be online, just a learning service opportunity.
Okay, so question number 3 that you should ask is, who will the programming help/serve? So that could be your ODK members, all students on campus, other student leaders, faculty and staff, the community, alumni. Again, the engagement opportunities are all over the place, but if you really want to have the best programming you can, you need to identify who those audiences are ahead of time. That way you can tailor it to their needs. And so often circles focus on doing something like a service project, and that does help the community, but is that giving your ODK members in your circle leadership development? Are you actually talking about what service leadership and service learning can do, or are you just going together to do something in the community? Again, it's important to do those things and be a valuable contributor, but if you're not looking at it through that leadership lens, then you're missing an opportunity to develop your members. If you're going to all students, again, that's a great way to get ODK's name out there, and that's what a good signature program and event can do for you. So, in the past, we've done ODK's True Blue Leadership Day and featured speakers from across the nation who came to campus, and that was open to all students. And we had support from the president's office all the way down to Honors College and Student Organizations office to try to get the word out for that. And that really elevated ODK's name on campus, because that became something that people knew us by. If you're looking at other student leaders, again, look to your other student organizations. If there's a segment of their executive boards that aren't really being targeted by the institution, maybe speak up and talk to your student organization office and say, hey, can we work with you to do some leadership development for secretaries of organizations or treasurers, vice presidents? And part of ODK is about being inclusive and not just saying, okay, well, we can train the president of every organization to do something and they'll pass the word down. Sometimes you need to be more intentional, and you can help your campus do that. And again, that's not programming that you have to completely reinvent from scratch, but someone needs to learn how to ask those questions, and it could be your circle. Faculty and staff, can your faculty advisor and circle coordinator, is there programming that they want to offer their colleagues? So faculty advisors and circle coordinators come from all kinds of different departments, academic departments, student affairs. So it looks different from campus to campus, but that's the amazing thing about ODK and what can help you make some unique programming for them. And again, community members and alumni, a great way to get them involved, especially when you're looking at hybrid and or virtual events, because you might have somebody who hasn't been to campus in a decade. Maybe their ODK initiation, their senior year was one of the last big things that they did, and they haven't been back and didn't really get to do a lot with the circle. So this is a good way to engage them as your lifelong members.
One other thing, Matthew, back to that other question, is as a circle programmer, a circle coordinator, I can guide my circle and I can make suggestions and things. But if I don't let my circle executive board and members have participation in the say in what we're doing and how it's going to work, then they don't have buy-in. So as a good coordinator, I have to include their feedback. I have to make sure that there is buy-in. And the best way to do that is let your executive board be the mouthpiece to your members. I can email members all day long and they'll ignore me. But if one of the other students emails them, we've had a much bigger participation in service projects this year, simply because the service project coordinator this year is doing an excellent job of reaching out personally to the students. And I think that makes a big difference because they tend to listen to other students more than they listen to us. So I see my role as just floating around up here and, you know, throwing ideas and guidance out, making sure everybody's on the right path. But I don't want to cram things down their mouth, down their throat. So I want to let them be leaders.
Okay, so our next question is, what resources do you have? And that is the million-dollar question, right? So when you're working on how to do a program on campus, one thing that many student organizations forget to ask is, who's going to pay for it, right? Or is there a cost with it? So it's not that your programming has to have a cost, but there may be costs associated with it. So you need to work through those things when you're looking at programming. So what kind of space do you need? Is this something where you're going to use multiple buildings on campus? Are you at a large enough campus where you have options, or is there just one main auditorium that people use for their student events? And so then you're going to have to work with other campus schedules and know what space is available if you're going to do indoor, outdoor. And then, you know, as we mentioned earlier, technology now plays a bigger role in programming on any campus than it did a year ago. Because not many campuses were embracing Zoom or Teams or whatever technology you have, but that is a key resource for you. And if you have that technology to include virtual audiences at your in-person events, that's a great thing to do moving forward. You know, just outside of ODK, in our office, we were talking about how we recognize our students every year with our annual awards program. And in the past, it's just been a sit-down dinner. Students were limited to 2 guests. So they'd usually bring a parent, spouse, whoever they could get to come. But a lot of times their extended family did not get to see it happen. And now that we have that technology to be able to broadcast those type of events, that might be something that you consider with initiations too. Because there are, you know, ODK initiations are always public, but that could be, you know, have a programming aspect to it as well. So you could have your initiation and then have a leadership speaker as part of that. And if you're reaching a broader audience, then that helps educate the family members about what ODK is too. So that's something to consider. So space and
siblings, younger siblings that may be watching. One of the things that I think we're lucky about at our MTSU circle is that we're housed within the Honors College and we have the full support of our dean. Therefore, we have resources built in, and I don't have to go out across campus necessarily looking for space or looking always for financial assistance, because I have that built in. So if you can get buy-in from a department or, you know, a college or your honors college on campus, student organizations, wherever you can find a niche to fit in, I highly recommend that, because it makes life a lot easier than having to scrape for every dime and every space. So how can you promote your programming? I think we all know most of this, but obviously social media. But again, I can put Facebook things up, or of course students don't look at Facebook, or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. but most of the time I'm going to be ignored. So I have my students do it, have the members in the group do it. Students listen to students, emails, texts, printed material, your campus master calendar. If you want to reach out to everyone on your campus, faculty and staff as well, hit that master calendar, direct mail, use your student organization office, because they can send out emails to every organization on campus and every member, where I can't do that. Also, your Greek Life office, if you have that, go through them. They can send out emails through Greek Life. I heard a great idea the other day on one of the sessions that they had some banners, some of those stand-up banners, tall banners, about ODK and how to join their circle on their campus, and they had it in the library by the checkout desk. So while you're waiting in line to check out a book, you see this. That's a fantastic idea. Put those around campus. They can go in your student union, they can go in different colleges or whatever, move it around. If you can only afford one, order, get one, and then change the location so everybody has an opportunity to see it. I thought that was a great idea, and I think I will price those out and see if I can find one, because that gets the word out, and then people, ask. They don't have to always ask who is ODK. They're going to know we're a legitimate organization on campus.
Okay. And the last question to consider is who can help? So again, we've talked about some of this, about enlisting your members in helping spread the word about things. And as Michelle noted in the chat, word of mouth is a great way to get things spread on campus. But unfortunately, during this past year, without as many people on campuses, word of mouth has been harder traditionally of, just passing somebody in the hallway saying, oh, did you hear about this thing happening? So hopefully as we get back to more normal life, hopefully in the fall, then that will be a really great way to get the word out again. Can your campus news or media relations people help you get the word out? If you have a marketing communications office, whatever, news and media relations, whatever it's called on your campus, especially when you're working with programming that has impact on the community or is open to community members, that's a great way to get the word out about what your circle is doing, because that also makes your institution look good. Right, and that's one thing that you need to remember as kind of the student leaders on campus, is you are representing your campus, and so the more you can engage different members of the community, the better that is for your institution as well. So in that sense, if you have alumni relations, alumni office, they're good to work with, your student leadership office, other faculty and administrators who are ODK members. And if you are thinking, okay, who all on my campus is an ODK member, and you don't know, and your circle might not have records of it, reach out to the national headquarters and call or email Ann Tyler, ask her if they can give you a report of their the ODK members who are listed as working at your institution, because that's how we found a lot of support at MTSU, especially after we first chartered, is we had that list of people to go to and say, hey, you were initiated as a student when you were an undergraduate, or maybe as a faculty and staff member before you even got here. Did you know we have an ODK circle? And enlist their help, because they've also had experience at another campus and can give you good ideas about what can work. And then, as we said, are there other student groups that you can work with? Because as I know that has been the prevailing theme across many sessions, the spirit of ODK and the ODK idea is built on collaboration. So between students from different parts of campus, faculty, staff, alumni. So don't feel like you always have to work alone. There's always someone there to help. And so now we'll stop the screen share. That way you don't have, that's one less PowerPoint you have to look at in your life. But we want to give everybody an opportunity to ask questions about experiences that we've had with programming, or how we can help other.
And we want to hear what you're doing on your campus too, because we can certainly learn from you as well. So this is an information sharing time. So does anybody want to share with us? John, where are you from? What did you say in the chat? I didn't.
Yes,
Campbell, from
Campbell
Campbell.
University in North Carolina, just south of Raleigh. And we have a couple of projects that we've taken on as signature projects for our campus. One of our traditions is we have a thank you campaign, and we encourage, it started at the Christmas holiday and then we moved it to Valentine, which is where it is now. We set up in our student union and ask our students to create thank you cards to go out to faculty and staff. And our faculty and staff across the years have found that very meaningful. We have most recently begun a prison education program with a prison not too far from our campus. And our major project for this year, and certainly into the next academic year, is integrating those incarcerated students into the student body. We've taken on the decoration of their classrooms. So we're actually in a fundraising mode now to be able to do that over the summer. We're also in a faculty book drive. We need to enlarge the library resources at the prison outside of the books that support the curriculum. So we've asked our faculty to look through their bookshelves and help us find those things that would be good supplemental information. And so that's going to be a project that we're going to be working on for a couple of years. But we try to maintain a couple of signature programs, most notably our thank you card project, and then try to get something that's relevant to the campus community to work on periodically. We also collaborate on campus. And as you can imagine, campus ministry is very interested in the prison education initiative. So they're very anxious to get involved with us where they can. So that's probably more than you wanted to hear.
No, that's fascinating. I've not heard of any other circle that's involved in a prison, any programming with a prison. So you're decorating the classroom, you're doing the book drive. Do you do anything? Do they interact with the prisoners at all? Do they?
Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that because of COVID. And, you know, in North Carolina, at least, the prison system is not very amenable to electronic medium in the prison. So we are trying to work out with the warden where we may be able on our side to have a group meeting via Zoom with the students inside the prison. We hope to be able to do that by the end of the semester. But we strategically inducted Dr. Rick Smith, who was our prison education coordinator, into ODK in the fall. So we wanted to bring him on the inside to have a collaborative partner who has invested in this, and he's been very helpful. The warden is very anxious for our students, our main campus students and our Sampson County students to interact. I was one of the inaugural faculty there in the program and got to know the warden. So that relationship has been made easier to maintain because he knows who I am and we've had a lot of interaction. But getting the students connected hasn't been as easy as it will be once COVID is over and we can meet and greet one another in their large gathering space.
Right. Well, and you bring up another point, and I can't remember if we said this, but honoris causa members. Go out in your communities and look for people you want to partner with in the community and invite them to become a member of ODK. Nominate them as an honoris causa, which gives them some buy-in to your organization. Always a great way to get others involved and get programming going. Thank you for sharing. That was really interesting.
Good.
When you're looking at programming like that with the prison population, then different states might also have funding. I mean, this is completely outside of ODK, but when you have those community partners, there are all kinds of grant monies out there to look into for strengthening the communities and
Mhm.
lowering recidivism rates. And I mean, there's a major push for that in a lot of local communities. So finding the right partners in the community is essential to making that happen. And that is a tangible way, not that, a kind of like a food drive that makes a difference, right? Especially with a student food pantry. But when you have that opportunity to go off campus and go into your community, you're going to be making changes that outlast your time at your institution. So, and it's kind of the really heavy thing to think about as a student. But whenever you build those partnerships and get those programs, you're touching somebody's life who has not had opportunities like you've had, and it's a great way to bring more people into conversations. So I'm going to put a link in the chat to the Clay Grant application as well. So if people aren't familiar with those, that's leadership development, grant money that ODK does every year. And so make sure you apply for those awards, and think about your programming in terms of what could we do that we could apply for funding for, because that helps ODK's mission overall, because they're investing in the circles and you're doing something that is good for ODK, but that's free money that's there, there to apply for every single year. So.
And I like to, that you pointed out, John, your signature program that you have. That's something every circle should think about, so you are not reinventing the wheel every year as far as programming. Come up with one good signature program. Now, I say that, and a signature program may last a few years, and then it's lived its life, and you need to kind of come up with a different one. Doesn't mean that it's going to be forever and ever your signature program. We did something similar to the letter writing. We did Christmas cards and we took them over to the veterans home. We have a large veterans hospital near us. And what ends up happening is the veterans that are in this home, they carry these cards around and they don't remember when they got them. They don't remember what they're for, but they take them out and they show them to you. And they love to reread them all through the year. So it's something that, even though it's a small thing we do during the winter and the holidays, it lasts throughout the year for them. And it's meaningful for them. Unfortunately, with that project, we did it for many years. It became so popular with other groups that we got pushed out. And we couldn't get a date to go back because there were so many other organizations that did it. You know what? That's great. I'm glad that they're doing it. So now we have an opportunity to come up with something new. And and that's our Leadership Lending Library, which is going to be our signature program. So a signature program isn't always going to live forever, but try to come up with something that that you can last for several years, and maybe it will last forever. You don't know what the lifespan's going to be, but
that
thinking a signature program.
On many campuses, turf battles can happen, and most of the time as a student, you don't realize what kind of turf battles are fought over the years between people having their thing that they're known for, and you can't infringe on that. But it would have been wrong for us with the Veterans Christmas Card Program to say, no, you other student organizations shouldn't do that. This is our thing, right? Because at the end of the day, what a good problem that we couldn't get on the calendar because and this is again in the before times, but that there were so many student organizations in our military and veterans family center on campus. They were there, and the programming people at the veterans home said they were booked for every weekend or anytime that we could go in between the holidays. So we just walked away and then thought of something new, for the spring. So again, it goes back to that leadership legacy. You never know what kind of impact that your circle is going to have, or what kind of idea you're going to spark that initiates something else on your campus. So.
Well, it dawned on our circle coordinator in me that there is and has been a forgotten population in COVID. And that is our primarily older adults that are living in assisted living and nursing home settings. So over the summer, this past, we coordinated via this technology with our circle card collection. And we did that over the summer. We came back and we did that again on campus in the fall in partnership with the local nursing home conglomerate. We have sent literally hundreds and hundreds of cards just addressed to whomever at these assisted living and nursing home facilities, been exceptionally well received. And then this spring, we partnered with a local group and were able to put together 1,500 carnation vases. And those 1,500 vases went in to the local assisted living and nursing homes. Just a thinking of you in this very isolated time. So I think part of what we need to do, and that's just an illustration, is of being relevant. You know, our circle was fortunate enough to see a need and capitalized on it, and was able to do some, I think, meaningful activity to help someone who might feel neglected or lonely or completely isolated.
Yeah, that's great. And especially that population that does not use Zoom. They don't use computers, and so they're not necessarily connected. Although you did bring up, that reminds me of something that's not an ODK project on our campus, but it's something that I run in the Honors College. And that is, we have an assisted living facility by us that's very large, and we go into the independent living section. And we do technology help once a month, because they all have cell phones, they all have iPads and computers, but they don't all know how to use them. And obviously, who knows how to use them better than our students? And so I usually take a group of 5 to 8 students over there once a month, and they set up appointments, and they write down on this appointment list that the director keeps. And we go from either room to room if it's a desktop, or we have somebody manning a conference room. They can bring their phones, their iPads, whatever. We've helped with their cable TV. We've helped, you know, with everything that you can imagine, and have had the best time. It is more meaningful, I think, for our students even than it is for them, because of the relationships that they've formed with these people. And these are interesting people, and they have lived interesting lives, and they get talking and they get sharing, and one thing led to another. And after the first couple months, they said, well, can you all stay and have dinner with us? Because we went from, I think, 3 to 4:30 or 3 to 5 we went, and their dinner is at 5. And so eventually the facility asked us to stay for dinner. And so we would sit at either a large table, sometimes we'd sit at several tables. We'd have guests that would sign up to be the host, and so we would sit with different people. And it was just a great experience. And we've lost people, you know, we've had to say goodbye to some of the residents, and that's been emotionally hard, but still so fulfilling, and just a great project. So we've done that. We did that for 5 years. Last year would have been our 6th year. Obviously they were all on lockdown and we couldn't go, but my students keep asking me, are we going to go in the fall? Are we going to go in the fall? And I have made so many friends over there, and they're calling me. They all have my cell phone number, because now we taught them how to use their cell phone. And so they call me and say, hey, are you coming back? Are you coming back? Yes, we're coming back. We promise. So that's a great community outreach. Now I do that with the whole Honors College, but what better organization to do it with than ODK? So there's an idea for programming as well.
Thank you for that. I made a note. I think that's a brilliant project, and I will give you credit when I introduce you to our circle.
Well, it's been a wonderful and very fulfilling program, I can tell you that.
Well,
And you know, we go back every month, and sometimes we teach the same people the same things. And sometimes they want to shop online with you, and they'll get, you know, one of the ladies will get one of the girls, and they want to shop online, and they, you know, they're just talking about clothes and they're looking at things and whatever. It's just creating relationships, and it's just fun. So very fulfilling. How about some of our students out there? I know some of you, one of you said you could only listen. Anybody else want to contribute? We'd love to hear what you do. Anyone? Jennifer?
I know Austin P does stuff, and if you tell me you don't, I'll tell Greg Singleton that you said you don't do anything. So
Tammy, I think, who said they didn't have, Kim doesn't, Kim said she didn't have any sound. Jennifer, Taylor, Tammy, where are you all from? Can you chime in? Maybe they're in their pajamas.
when I know we're talking about, things that we've done this past year, virtually, things we used to do, and then 4 times, kind of thinking forward to being able to do stuff in person. But I had a thought this afternoon, kind of mentally getting ready for the session, because there was a campus-wide email that we got from our university president today, who's talking about vaccination availability for students. And as we get towards the end of the semester, that rollout of vaccination availability to everyone is getting closer. So if you're racking your brain trying to think, what can our circle do? How can we get involved? Yes, it sounds great to go do that, but that's a vulnerable population. We'll wait a few months when people are vaccinated. This is something you can do right now with being campus leaders with your vaccination efforts.
Mm-hmm.
So help spread the word. I know that our university is launching a major public health campaign to defend True Blue, is what they're calling it, because that's our, if you can see in Susan's corner down there, I am True Blue, that's our logo. So they're trying to really push that messaging of, get your vaccine, be a leader. And if you don't know how you can get involved with that, reach out to your health clinic or your marketing team or someone on campus. Start with your circle advisors. And because that's a wonderful opportunity, and an organization like ODK that has now survived 2 pandemics and 2 world wars and everything else, we have, I think, a duty to history and our nation and world to step up at this time and encourage people to get vaccinated.
And
Some
wear
really
your
great
ODK
ideas are coming. Yes, wear your ODK shirt all the time. There are some different comments coming in through the chat. Some very good ideas from other circles. If you want to take a look there, Matt.
Okay.
Yes,
They don't want to talk to us.
they're chatting,
Okay.
they're talking.
Yeah, they're chatting the new way in the chat box. So brain breaks.
Yes. Everybody needs some brain breaks. Get some food.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
And no problem, Tammy. I totally understand it. I think my neighbor's starting to mow his lawn for the first time today, and it's getting loud out there.
I like the brain break. That
Yeah.
reminds me of a day that Matthew was going by the Honors College and heard a tour that was being given that said, in the Honors College, we serve breakfast every morning for free. And you could go in and get breakfast.
What?
Yeah. And we have no idea where this person
Where do I sign up?
got that information. But if there was going to be breakfast, I would be the one in charge of that. And I'm like, I'm not making breakfast for everybody. But that was kind of funny. I had to
text
call
Susan
over
and ask her if I could have waffles the next day.
I know. I had to text over there and say, please tell your tour guides not to offer breakfast in the Honors College. Nice idea,
There is
but
free coffee though, so
yeah, there's coffee, but
Maybe
there's
that's
not.
their idea of breakfast.
I
is
guess.
coffee.
I don't know, but it was awfully funny. We had a good laugh over that.
Yeah, free food is amazing. I did hear, and this could become an ODK project, who knows? But I have heard of some Twitter services on certain campuses where when there is free food that's left over from events, they put a tweet out and you can subscribe to the tweet. So you'll get news. And for our hungry students who really do have food insecurity, that can be a great opportunity.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I actually do that in our building if we have, because I am the one that usually orders the food. And so what I do is go around to the classrooms in the building and say, I've got some food left over, come get it. But having that,
Yeah, but to have a specific tweet that you
That's
could
great.
follow.
That's great.
It's
And
been a great service.
Tammy mentions here that one of their challenges is that members are spread so thin doing leadership and service with different groups. Absolutely. That's why I think if you partner with another group, You can all benefit from that, and you're not doing two different things, but you're all working together, even more than one group. Or get your students involved in one large on-campus event, service project or something if they do that. But yeah, everybody spread thin. That's always an issue, and we try not to over program, because that just turns people off and they run away because it's too much. So yeah, we get that.
One thing you could do as a circle is, because your members are involved in every other thing, that's why they're also in ODK, is maybe share that information with each other. If you're meeting monthly or meeting regularly, decide, okay, which event will we support the most out of our circle this month? Whether, if we're not going to put on a program ourselves as a circle, who in our organization is really working hard on something that we should support? So, and wear your ODK pin and your ODK shirt and be seen that you're supporting all the leadership that's happening everywhere else on campus. You don't have to do it all yourself. Just be visible, be those leaders, be collaborative, everything that our presenters have said today. But just live it, live that ODK idea.
And if you don't have an ODK hat or t-shirt, make sure you go to the Shop ODK link.
That's right.
Get
some conference swag.
That's right.
On Event Moby today.
And Taylor Ketchum brought up that Stockton is working on a signature event for this fall. They just received a clay grant. Congratulations. For an upcoming event, Lead with Your Clifton Strengths. Ooh,
that's really good.
Well, I guess you're using the Clifton Strengths Finder and you're going to do programming with that. So that's excellent. Worked with ODK, I guess, because ODK supports that Clifton Strengths, and
now they support True Colors too, so don't forget. We'll be happy to help you have a True Colors program on your campus too.
And even if you think something like True Colors because you did it, over a half your lifetime ago in 4-H, you will take it before the ODK conference and completely change your colors, and it's okay. And you'll have some introspective moments because of it. So even if you think, oh, this is something that everybody's already done by now, no, it's not. And
there's always more to learn.
Exactly.
For sure.
I feel like now I need to introduce myself and say, hi, I'm Susan. I'm a blue.
In many ways,
I'm a blue gold.
You're blue gold.
I'm a blue gold. Jennifer said she's in a noisy environment, so that's why she didn't want to turn on her speaker, but their circle volunteered at the COVID-19 testing clinics on campus. So great job. Perfect way to use something that's relevant and current, and be there.
And if you're not telling people about it, if you're not bragging on your circles for doing these things, you need to, right? Again, it's more than just social media. Please do outreach to your campus marketing people, because every institution for the most part has a magazine, even if it's an annual publication. Advocate for your circle to get there, because that's one of the biggest things about the programming. If you do it, it's going to be great. You will develop your leaders and you will do all this. But if you're just so isolated as a circle and you're not thinking about the bigger picture, then no one's going to know about it. And so everything that your circle does is an opportunity for promotion and recruitment. And fundraising too, because you might have somebody in the community who says, you know what, I heard that you applied for that clay grant to that Strengths Finder event or True Colors workshop, and you did such a great job pitching that about how excited you are that I'm going to give you the money to do it either way. And so then you might double your grants that you could get just by having your members advocating for your circle on your campus.
And I see Tammy is a True Blue MTSU alum. I didn't see that before.
Awesome.
So, welcome, Tammy.
Matthew, to follow up on that, take pictures, send them to the circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Post there. There's nothing more fun than seeing your name and your picture in the circle, or, so many posts are going out these days from the headquarters that would congratulate you then for doing those things. And yeah, you got to brag on yourself. Absolutely.
For sure.
You brag about yourself, then ODK can brag about you, then your campus will see that ODK is bragging about you, and then it's this five-fold promo at that point.
I heard a cool idea yesterday. I think it's Worcester Polytechnic. They do, their circle gives out a monthly Student of the Month award or a Leader of the Month, and it's someone who's not a member of ODK. So they're being sure to honor the leadership around campus, but it's a way to get their name out. It's a way to maybe be nice to a really prospective member and to, you know, just keep spreading the word about leadership and how important it is. And that doesn't cost anything
Yeah.
unless you make a poster, you know, even it's not going to cost anything because probably just doing it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
See if you can put a parking space in their name. Huh?
Oh gosh, we'd all be clamoring for that. We would. That's the greatest commodity on any campus is a parking space. Well, anybody else have anything? You can throw it up in the chat. If not, we can wrap up.
Terrific ideas today.
Thank you all for joining us and sharing with us, and we can all definitely learn from each other. None of us know everything. We're not here to say that we know the right way to do things because we certainly don't. And you just keep on trying until you find what does work and the best
Well, and
advice.
don't let this be your last conversations with each other and with the national organization either. You know, if you need some help to walk through things, call somebody. If you can't find their info on the ODK website, you know, Google's always your friend, or call up, you know, Ann Tyler or Tim and say, hey, help. I have this idea, but, you know, I need some connections. So
Our
if you're
society, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, if you're ever driving through the Shenandoah Valley and you come upon Lexington, Virginia, stop by and say hi because they would love to see you.
Mhm.
And
Our
it's a
society is
beautiful
very
area.
fortunate to have a staff and a headquarters. That a lot of honor societies are they're dutifully run by excellent volunteers and out of the desk drawer of whatever faculty member is running that honor society at that time. And actually ODK was that for a little while, but now we have an amazing staff and the support that that can provide you with the resources and the great ideas and that can help you push things forward on your campus. So take advantage of that. It's an amazing resource.
Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up then.
Yeah, there is a session evaluation. So let's thank our presenters today. Let's give a virtual round of applause, standing ovation
Thank
to
you.
Matthew and Susan. Did an amazing job. Thanks to all of our participants for your attention and your ideas today. And please complete the session evaluation because that always helps the conference planning committee.